Well, hey guys, and welcome to the ZJC electric guitar webinar. I'm really glad you're here. We're going to dive right in. A couple of housekeeping things. So, first, you're going to want to have a guitar in front of you. This is designed to help you prepare to play electric guitar on your worship team. Maybe you've been playing acoustic guitar and you want to transition to electric guitar. That's how it was for me. I played acoustic for about 3 years before I really started getting serious about electric guitar. And this will help you. Essentially, it's all the things that I wish that I had been told right off the bat. Helps accelerate your learning process. This webinar assumes that you know the basics of acoustic guitar. So if you are starting totally from scratch, I'm going to skip some important steps that you would learn when you're starting on acoustic guitar. And so it's important that you just keep that in mind. You can still start with what we have here, but you may need to go back afterward and look at the acoustic guitar webinar or the acoustic course at zjcworship.com, because there's going to be some introductory concepts you're going to need. There will be a PDF with the slides from this presentation available after, or probably below, I believe, is where I'll have it, so you can follow along as we go. This is pre-recorded. There will be a replay available, as well as a brief Zoom Q&A live at the end. And I'm also in the YouTube live chat. So if you have questions, feel free to ask the questions in chat, and I'll do my best to help you. The link to that Zoom Hangout is in your email. There's also, if you scroll down on this page as well, there's a place where you can get a link to join the Zoom Hangout that will happen afterward. And at the Zoom Hangout, if you come, we're going to be giving away one electric guitar course at zjcworship.com. So you'll definitely want to check that out. It'll be a great time. Get to ask any questions about learning electric guitar, and I'll do my best to help you. So, without further ado, our goal is to be able to play one worship song on electric guitar, and we're going to learn on rhythm and lead for electric guitar. And I'm going to show you a few different approaches to playing electric guitar. The reality is that electric guitar is not as simple as acoustic guitar. Acoustic guitar is so much simpler in terms of the rhythm, and you're primarily you're not typically playing lead parts on acoustic guitar. And electric guitar is where it really transitions. You have so many options. And so I'm going to show you some of the different ways you can approach it to get started, to give you some idea that you can start to then learn songs and transition into it. So just to review real quick, when we show basic finger numbers, when we show charts, when we show what to play, I need to review. If you saw this on the acoustic webinar, you would have seen this as well. But we call our thumb, but then we call the rest of our fingers the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4. And this shows us essentially when we look at these charts that I'll show you where to put your fingers. So again, thumb, 1, 2, 3, 4. When you're picking finger numbers, you just want to use whatever's simple and logical. You want to use what requires the least amount of hand movement. You're going to want to use whatever allows you to play from a position of confidence. You're going to want to use whatever does not require awkward hand positions. And all of these things will help you on electric guitar. You want to think about, okay, where do I need to be for the next movement, and start to move ahead of time. The other thing we're going to review is talking about chords and tablature, or tab. Essentially, we talked about this in the acoustic webinar, but we're going to kind of talk about it again and show some things. And I just want to make sure, if you've never seen this before, you have a clue what we're talking about. So if you see a 6 number or symbol line, that's essentially telling what the chord is that we're going to be playing. You know, this G chord that we taught in the acoustic webinar, it's 3x0033. And it looks like this. And it means that we're playing 3x0033 in terms of the frets. And that means if you see a 3, the first one, you fret the 3rd fret on the low E string. The next one would be an X, and that means you mute the string. You lightly touch it while we fret the chord. So if you play it, there's just a little hint of something, but it's not actually playing a note. A 0 is an open string, so this would be your D and your G strings. And then a 3 would be to fret the 3rd fret on the B and the high E strings. So essentially you're looking at the guitar from lowest to highest. When you see a 6 number, maybe with some symbols in there, but you're seeing 6 different things that tell you what frets to play on. And we're going to look at this in more detail. So it's time to start learning rhythm electric guitar. So the first thing to keep in mind when you're starting out and you're transitioning from acoustic guitar to electric guitar, a great place to start is power chords. Now you might be familiar with this if you've messed around with this at any time. A power chord is essentially a 1-5-1. It's what you'd call on a chord chart like a G5 chord, and that's what this would be. So if we play G, or this would be 3-5-5, and then XXX. So the rest of it, we don't play any of the other strings. We just play the E, A, and D strings. And that's a G5 power chord. We'll go to another power chord. So if we go to, this would be an E5 power chord, and we're going to be playing the same song. We're going to be playing Nothing But the Blood, which is going to sound weird with these power chords, but it's useful for something that is not copyrighted and something that I can show you as a useful song to learn on multiple instruments. But the principle, you can use these on a lot of different songs. So an E5 power chord is open and then 2-2 XXX. And if you notice, essentially what I'm doing with this is I'm playing my one finger across the A and the D strings on the 2nd fret. And if I strum all the strings, you're still only going to hear those. Now, ideally, you would just play those low 3 strings, but muting the other ones makes it possible for you to not get a note in there you don't want to be there. You could also play this, and then sometimes I will, you could play this open 2-2, but then you play it with your 2 finger, so it looks like this. So you can bar it like that, or play it like that. And just to review for clarity, I think I rushed through this a little bit. When you go to the G5 chord, what you're going to do with your fingers, your one finger is going to be on the 3rd fret. Then your 3rd finger, which is your ring finger, is going to be on the A string on the 5th fret. And your forefinger, or your pinky finger, is going to be on the D string on the 5th fret. And your 2 finger, or your middle finger, is not used here. So that's G5, and then E5. Okay. Now let's look at C5. Now we're going up to the next set of strings. So now, instead of the first string being played, we're going to mute it. So we're going to use a lot of times you can do one of 2 things. You can either mute it with your middle finger by holding it over like this, or you can press your one finger up against the E string like this, and it will at least partially mute it. Ideally, you won't even play that string, but it's useful to have it muted just in case. Now, this is the exact same pattern as the G5 chord. So we're essentially playing it just one string up. So this is a G5, but now we're going to move it up. So now it's X, 3, 5, 5, XX. Okay, so play along with me so far. So let's go to a G5. Remember, that's 3, 5, 5, XXX. So now let's go to the C5. We're just going up we're going up a string essentially. And now let's go to the E5. That's open 2-2. And then back to the C. And back to the G. Okay. Now we're going to learn one more, and that is the D5 power chord. And really, this, you notice now, it's the exact same pattern. We're just moving it to start on a different fret. So if you know that this would be 3rd fret on the A string, that's a C. if you know that that's a C and you play this pattern, you'll get a C5 chord. Same thing. 5th fret is a D on the A string, and you play the same pattern, and you've got a D5 chord. This one is X577XX. Okay, so G5, E5, C5, and D5. Okay, now we're going to put it all together, and we're going to jump right into this. This is Nothing But the Blood, but we're going to do it with just power chords. So try and follow along as best you can. We'll take this a little slower. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What can wash away my sin? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. What can make me whole again? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. And oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. No other fount I know. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Okay, so you see how that can work. So just for clarity again, playing the G, the G5 on What Can Wash, and then on Away we're going to the E5, Away My Sin. On the C, Nothing But the Blood of Jesus. And on Jesus we go to the D and to the G right away. So on that chord chart, you just look for where the chord lines up with the word and follow along. Let's do this one more time. So try and play along again. 3, 4. What can wash away my sin? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. What can make me whole again? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. And oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. No other fount I know. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. So there you go. Okay. Now let's learn an example of how you might play this if you're playing higher rhythm shapes. And honestly, this is kind of the launching pad to playing lead parts, because you essentially use these same shapes to play lead parts. You just modify them or don't play all the notes at the same time. It's positions in a lot of ways. So here's a way that you might play the same progression in a different position. So this one is going to be up high, and you see the parentheses around this. It says XX, and then it's 12, 12, 12X. Anytime you see the parentheses, that's just to differentiate where the fret is for a particular string. So you can see it's up high. It's on my 12th fret, and it's going to sound like this. I might do this with a bit more of a cleaner kind of ambient sound here. Let's do this. Let's try this. Nope. There we go. You'll notice a lot of times this sound, you just will modify your sound depending on where you are on the guitar. Just depends on what you want. For this, I want something a little cleaner because it'll make it easier to hear. So this one, again, you're not playing the E and A strings. You're just barring it across. 12, 12, 12, and then you just don't play the high E. Okay? Then that was a G chord. An E minor chord is slightly different. This one, you're putting your 3 finger, that's your ring finger, on fret 14. And just for clarity, on my guitar at least, you can see in the picture, on my guitar the 12th fret has 2 dots, both on the fret and right here up top. That's an anchor for me. I know that 12, I can count off of that, and that's going to, I just add or subtract to 12. So I know 14 is 2 frets higher. So for this would be XX 3 1 1 for the fingers, or in this case 14 12 12. And then I just don't play the highest. Technically it's in the chord. You could if you wanted to. Excuse me. There it is, right there. But you notice most of the time I wouldn't do that, just because, like you saw me mess up that first one. It's just harder to do. A lot of times when you're starting out, you don't even need all those notes. 3 is just fine. So that's an E minor chord. A C chord is slightly different, and technically this isn't an inversion for you music theory nerds out there, but I'm one of them. But in this case, it's functioning. You can flip them around however you want when you're up this high. It's functioning like a C chord because it is one. It's just turned around. So this one we're going to do XX. We're not going to play the E and A strings. We're going to play 14, 12, 13, and then not play the highest. Again, technically it's in the chord. You could play it if you want to, but we're not going to worry about that. So your 1 finger is going to go on the G string on fret 12. Your 2 finger is on the B string on fret 13. And your 3 finger is on the D string on fret 14. Okay? So now a D chord. This one's going to require more movement away, and there's different ways to approach this. I picked this one because it's kind of similar, but the reality is you're going to have to move off of that position a little bit. So this one is going to be XX 12, 11, 10, and then we just don't hit the highest string here. So this one, your 1 finger is on the 10th fret of the B string. Your 2 finger is on the 11th fret of the G string, and your 3 finger is on the 12th fret of the D string. Okay, so now let's walk through these a little bit to get comfortable. So go to a G. Remember, that's 12, 12, 12. So now let's go to an E minor. So that would be 14, 12, 12. Then let's go to a C, that's 14, 12, 13. And go to a D, that one is 12, 11, 10. Okay, I'm going to show you an example of how this would work with Nothing But the Blood. This one's a little bit trickier. Normally I would not be leading while playing a lead part up this high. I can do it. I technically have done it for sets before, but I prefer to be playing something rhythm if I can help it. So Nothing But the Blood. So let's start in G here. And just play along. And if you're not comfortable with this, play along with the power chords and get comfortable. You can fill in the rhythm underneath. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What can wash away my sin? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. What can make me whole again? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. And oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. No other fount I know, nothing but the blood of Jesus. And you see here, one other thing you can do, sometimes I will bar a G chord up high here with my third finger instead of my first finger, and it's functionally the same. I can play it like that. Sometimes I'll play it like that because it puts me in position for the D. So if I'm going, then I'm in position. Let's try this one more time. So play along either with power chords or with the high parts if you're able to follow. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What can wash away my sin? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. What can make me whole again? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. And oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. No other fount I know, nothing but the blood of Jesus. So there you go. There's a couple of different ways to approach it. And what's nice is that is a way of playing a lead part per se, but it's kind of a high rhythm part. And high rhythm parts are a great way to transition into playing lead electric. But the best thing you can learn is to start to learn to play lead parts. And I'll show you an example. We're going to play this melody. This is the last big picture thing we're going to cover. But I need to talk about scales. And I'm just going to talk about one in particular in one spot for sake of time. A G major scale. What a major scale is essentially, it's the foundation of worship music. I mean, it's just everywhere. It's in almost every song is written in a major key using a major scale. It's the most important scale in worship music to know. Sometimes you'll see minor keys, but it's very unusual, as much as I love it personally. Major scales are where it's at for worship music. So let's start on fret 12, and we're going to start. You're going to see in the diagram there. I'm going to play this for you. We're going to play the G major scale. So start on fret 12. We're going to play G, A, B. We moved up to the B string. C, D, E, F sharp, G. That's a G major scale from bottom to top. Now the scale degrees, what's happening there functionally is in the key, and this is just something I want you to be aware of. What's happening in every major scale is essentially this pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And it goes back to, and that's an octave apart. Every scale uses this pattern. The way that we play it with our fingers here is we start on fret 12 on the G string, so 1, then we're going to play 2 frets higher, but with our third finger. Then we're going to go to the B string, and we're going to just play with our 1 finger. Then we're going to go with our second finger, up 1 fret. Then we're going to go with our pinky, our 4th finger, on this would be 2 more frets up, or 3 higher than where we first started. So this is fret 15. Then we're going to go up a string again to this is the high E string with our 1 finger. Then with our 3, we're going to go up 2 frets, 14th fret on the high E string. And with our 4th finger, we're going to go to the 15th fret. So, and that is a G major scale. Now, what we're going to use for Nothing But the Blood is just 4 of those notes. Here's what's cool about Nothing But the Blood, and this is why I really wanted to pick it. There's only 4 notes that the melody uses, and so you can get a feel for what it's like to play a lead part with this song. And we're going to use these notes. This is technically the first part. It's not the full pentatonic scale, but it's part of a pentatonic scale. Don't worry about that for now. Just know we're going to use the G on fret 12 on the G string, A, 14th fret on the G string, we're going to use a B, which is the 12th fret on the B string, and 15th fret, which is the D that is on the B string. So those are our notes. So this is the melody of Nothing But the Blood. And I'm going to play this twice. First time I'm going to play it for you. So let's get in the key here. I'm going to play G, 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 A, B, D, B, G, 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 A, B, B, A, G, 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 A, B, D, B, G, 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 A, B, B, A, G. And then the refrain is different. So it goes to D, B, A, B, D, B, A, G, A, B, D, D, B, A, B, D, B, G, 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 A, B, B, A, G. Now this is going to take some practice. Okay, so I'm going to play this one more time for you. Try and follow along as best you can. I know this will be probably pretty challenging at first, but just to give you an idea of what we can do with this. So in the key. And that's the melody. So you can use the resources. If you look at the PDFs, you can start to learn this. You can start to work on it and play along. That's essentially the three components that are worth learning for electric guitar to start with. So low rhythm, high rhythm, and starting to learn lead parts. Now, if you're looking for gear recommendations, I'm not going to dive into all of this stuff except to say that the best solution that I've found, it takes some financial investment, but it's worth it, is a Line 6 Helix pedal. And then I use presets from worshiptutorials.com. It saves so much time, and the sounds are just unbelievably good that come with it. I can't recommend their stuff enough. Between Line 6 and Worship Tutorials, it's made my life significantly easier in getting this set up. So without further ado, if you have any questions, we're going to hop over to Zoom now, and I would love to help you. If there's something that didn't make sense, feel free to bring your guitar, to ask questions. I'd love to help you. The thing I do want to let you know of a couple of things before we head over there. So if you want to learn another worship roll, we have webinars that we've done for all of the instruments except vocals, and that one is coming November 15th, and that one will be very, very fun. If you're wanting to learn how to sing on a worship team, wanting to learn how to overcome barriers to get you to the point where you're able to sing. It's not going to be a comprehensive, like customized vocal lesson per se. It's more going to be some tips and some things that I think will be very helpful for you. If you want to learn more, I would definitely recommend you check out the ZJC electric guitar course. It's available for $79, or you can get a core or a premium subscription for $10 or $20 a month, and you'll get access to the electric guitar course as part of that. It's been something that there's so much packed into that course. It's definitely one of my favorite courses that we offer. And without further ado, if you're interested in that, check out zjcworship.com. But let's head over to Zoom. So I'll see you there. Check the link, check your email, or scroll down on this page to find the info and join me over there.